Welcome to another segment of the Chancellor University Education Series. I'm Doug Lapelli, faculty for the Graduate School of Business here at Chancellor. Today we're going to talk about organizational behavior. Organizational behavior is a wonderful discipline. It deals with helping organizations be effective, it deals with leadership, and particularly it looks at the question, why do we behave as we do? Today we're going to talk about a couple of things, and we're going to look at a couple of specific questions. First, why are leaders as they are, and what creates great leadership? Organizational behavior is a wonderful discipline to look into that question. Secondly, we're going to look at how do you motivate yourself? How do you keep yourself motivated, and then how in turn do you motivate employees? Organizational behavior also looks at things like team building, organizational effectiveness, strategy development, those sorts of processes. But today, in particular, we're going to focus on leadership and motives and motivations. The practical application of org behavior is the discipline called organizational development. Organizational development is a growing discipline in many organizations. It often reports to the strategy function. It often reports inside HR. It's part of the training and development organization, chief learning officer. And organizational development, what makes it unique as a discipline inside organizations is that it integrates the discipline of psychology, so the study of individuals and why individuals behave as they do. It works with sociology, the study of groups, how teams come together, groupthink, all of those sorts of developments. It looks at anthropology, the study of culture, and how groups of people form a common way of behaving. And it also looks at business. So OD is an integrative function that looks at all these different dimensions with the goal of creating the best and most effective organizations. And in business, it's often the study of money and how do you actually earn money, and even nonprofits, how do you raise money and those sorts of things. So let's talk specifically about behavior and why we behave the way we do. This is a wonderful model. The iceberg model is a common model in business because it really shows at the bottom of the iceberg. The part that is most difficult to see is often what creates the greatest impact. So for behavior is a function of the situation and the person. So obviously if we're in a crisis situation, say your house is on fire, you may behave in ways that are very different than what your norm is. You may tell the family what to do if you're normally a nice, kind person. So situation affects behavior, but most of our behavior is affected by who we are as a person. And this iceberg really highlights the dilemma of trying to use behavior and how to determine behavior inside organizations. So above the waterline are the things that are very easy to see. So if you think about when you last applied for a job, what kinds of questions do they ask? It's usually about credentials. What were your experiences? What were your skills? Where did you go to school? All those sorts of things are very easy to see and define. We call those skills and knowledge. Those are above the waterline, which means they are important, but they're the least important when it comes to what's really going to affect your behavior in an organization. What affects people's behavior is what's below the waterline. And those things are like our values and our beliefs. We like to think that our values and beliefs are set in stone and pretty solid. But research shows that our values and beliefs actually change over time. They change according to our family dynamics, what's going on in our lives, how old you are. So values and beliefs are below the waterline and affect our behavior. Even more so of what affects our behavior are our self-image. Self-image is critical to what and how you behave. Do you believe yourself to be a leader? If you are, you'll take much more risks inside meetings and things like that. So self-image is important to your behavior. Our traits and personality, obviously, are very key. Introvert, extrovert, obviously, those kinds of things permeate all kinds of organizations and how you behave. There's a system called paradigms of thinking, so systems thinking paradigms. Do you believe that logic is what should rule the day? That's a personality trait that tremendously affects your the way you behave and act in meetings and in your organizations. But the most important determinant of your behavior is what we call motives and motivations. These are the deep drivers. What are you driven to do naturally? These often come very early in your life. You'll develop these motives and natural motivations very early on. Some people believe you're born with them. There's a lot of research that shows both ways. So this gets at the question of whether leaders are born or whether they're made. So we're going to talk a little bit more in the next segment about motives and motivations and how those in particular affect the effectiveness of organizations.